Hey everybody, Mike Toy here with Bonsai Boise. So this is one of my silver maples. I call it my loop-de-loop silver maple. I won't tell you why. Check out the cool loop-de-loop. This silver maple is going on 10 years old, or close to it. Something like that. It's been in a pot its whole life, which is why it's so small for 10 years. Had I planted that in the ground for maybe even half of that time, and I'll bet it would be, gosh, I don't know, as big around as my arm probably. They're very fast growing in the ground. Been using this rock as a little stabilizer for most of its life, I think, and look how it kind of, I don't know if it formed that way because of the rock or if it's a coincidence or what. Never really noticed that before. So I'm going to be repotting it, and in this video I'm actually going to show a few repots. It's been a busy spring so far, so I'm going to repot this one out of this old soil that it's been in for about 2.5 years. And then I've also got a couple of Siberian elms. My bigger one, the mother tree, and then the air layer from the bigger one. So I'll just show a quick blurb about those in this video too. I've never been super happy with the branch structure of this tree. I love the loop-de-loop feature, but I've never really had a good plan for after that. It's kind of like loop-de-loop and then now what? I don't know. So I'm gonna make some decisions today on what to do with it and where to go with it, because whatever it is, I don't want to take away from the loop-de-loop. So I think in the end, fortune favors the bold. Look how bold I am. Got a little brown spot in there, which is not always a good sign. It's not always fatal either, but could mean there's some rotting going on, which is somewhat common for silver maples. I've never successfully rooted a silver maple cutting, so I guess we'll try with this one and see. And I'm going to trim some of these back. It's kind of long and leggy up there. It's hard to see where the buds are, but I think I see them, so I'm just going to take it back to there. But I still don't love it. Looks like bunny ears. Goes straight up and has bunny ears. And the more I look at it, the more I don't like it. Off with the bunny ears. Otherwise, I'm pretty content with it for now. Still a big work in progress there with the branching, but you know, we'll keep working on it. There, I'm just trying to smooth it out, the transition spot. Yeah, we'll just keep working on the branch structure until it gets to a point that I'm happy with it. If it takes 10 years and taking it back every year, then that's what we'll do. In the meantime, time to get it out of this old soil and into some new soil. It's been in this pot for about 2.5 years. Not really sure what to expect when I pull it out. You see it's semi-root bound. Not terrible. I mean, push came to shove, it could have survived another probably couple years in the pot. Yeah, you can see it circled around and created a mat on the bottom. But lots of healthy roots. That's what you like. I've never really given a ton of effort on the root base for this tree. As you can see, kind of just doing its own thing down there. It's not the well manicured, perfectly radial type of root base that you would prefer. But sometimes I like that more wild, self-governing look of a root base anyway. Sometimes. So there it is. Got it all potted up. Here's the cut paste I've been using all of this spring. It's a little bit more liquidy than I expected. I kind of thought it would be more like a paste or something, like a clay. But it's kind of liquidy. It's like a slimy type of super glue. And I'll say it kind of looks like slime, slimy super glue after it's been outside for a week or so. I trimmed a few of my trees back a month or so ago and put some of this on and looked at it recently, and it's like, ugh, this is brown green. I'll show you here in a minute. But it works. I guess that's the point. So I'm going to transition this tree onto my front porch and then onto the benches, because the benches are kind of exposed, and being April, it could be 80 degrees today and 45 degrees tomorrow. I'll transition it back outside. I don't want to throw it into shock anymore. But yeah, it's all potted up now, so it's ready for a nice, healthy growing season. So I'll put it on the porch and I'll grab the next tree. And here it is. My Siberian elm. I call this the mother tree because this was the one I dug up about 5.5 years ago from the side of a building, kind of in between a crack in the sidewalk. And I've taken many cuttings from it since then. You see the top there where I did an air layer off. That was a side branch last year. But I did an air layer off the top of it last year, which I'll be doing right after this. I'll show you right after this one. Anyways, I've taken many cuttings and air layers. I've made a forest group out of it. It's provided many additional trees. That knob there in the middle, I chipped away at it quite a bit just now, and I've been doing that every year because when I first dug it up, it was this big, hideous knob, like a fist, just kind of sticking off the side. So I've been working on that. Otherwise, I've really grown to love this tree. It's got cool character. Elms in general, I just really enjoy. You can do a lot with them. Their branches ramify very easily. They're fast growing. They can take a lot of abuse. You can trim them quite a bit, and it doesn't seem to slow them down. The root structure is kind of weird. Sort of bald on one side. Healthy though on the other side. Not sure why. So there it is, all potted up in its new pot. Yeah, by the way, I got 4 of those plastic training pots from Amazon for like $30. I wanted to give the trees a chance to really grow, and have room to spread its roots and fly. Last year, they all spent the summer on my north-facing balcony at the apartment. Now that I've got a yard, I want to give them a nice, healthy growing season. So putting them all in some bigger pots this year. Otherwise, I wouldn't put a tree like this in a pot that big. But there it is. So let's look at tree number 3. This is the air layer from the top of the mother tree. I've really grown to love this one as well. It's doing all the right things. It's off to a great start. got good movement, some good character marks, good tapering. There's no reverse taper. You know, it tapers in all the right places. I like the big scar. I like some scarring, especially on elm trees. It gives them character, I think. I'm gonna make a cut right there because I want to take it back to more manageable size. Try to encourage some back budding. There's a better look at that plastic pot there. Sorry for the shaky camera work. Been doing my best this year just to get some video when and where I can. It's been a busy spring repotting trees. So there it is after the cut. I'm going to try and make some cuttings from those so that I can add them to the forest grouping next year. Or maybe keep them as individuals if they're cool enough. We'll see. Just using my normal soil mix. Perlite, pine bark, safety absorb. A little bit of volcanic rock that I had left over, I think. The roots look really good on this one. Nice radial root base. You can see some leftover trunk, if I could hold the camera steady. Jeez. You can see some leftover trunk from the air layer last year. I'm going to chip that away a little bit. I'm going to leave some just to kind of hold as an anchor in this new big pot. It still has some sphagnum moss in there, so I picked as much of that out as I could. Yeah, kind of like that. Get it in place just right. Get those roots all spread out. Take some time and care just to get it just right. Put some soil on there. Careful not to bump it. And I'll just kind of like work the soil into the roots very carefully. And then boom, screw the whole thing up. Just kidding, it probably didn't screw it up that much. But it did rearrange all that work. So there it is. I think it's off to a great start. Like I said, I really love this tree. Let me give you a look at them now that they've all been outside for a few days. There they are. There's the mother tree. Tried to get it to focus in. There's a couple of buds getting ready to pop, but there's the loop-de-loop silver maple. I'll give you a full tour later. Try and keep this video focused on these ones. There is the air layer. I have to say, bonsai trees are the hardest things to get a camera to focus on because you got so many branches going everywhere. There, see that slime? It kind of looks slimy. Looks a little gross, but it's doing its job. Another angle of the mother tree. I think that they're going to do great. And While I'm out here, I'll give you a look. That's the forest grouping of Siberian elms that I did a full video on that last week. Those ones are really budding out. I repotted this one a few weeks ago, so it's had a little more time to recover. A couple of the cuttings I put in there, I'm pretty sure are goners. That one. So it went from being inside in the grow tent the past year to outside. It didn't like it. That one's hanging on for dear life. Couple of leaves left. One in the back, definitely not liking it. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest.